Okay, creative writing. This is a quick intro video to the assignment. It's not live, although there will be a live one next time, and I'll post the link soon. We're going to look at a story I already posted for people to get a head start, and we're going to look at officially today. It's called The Last Rung on the Ladder from 1978 by Stephen King, who I'm sure you've heard of. He's one of those guys where even if you haven't read a Stephen King book, you still know the movies and, seeing him on talk shows and stuff like that. Now, this one is not about, a monster or a serial killer or something that you might imagine if you think of Stephen King. But it is kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of worse. And, the thing that happens is so sad that it's almost worse than one of those. So I think it's a great story. I also think it's really simple. If we look, I think this is 12 pages, which is a little more than the last one, but it's two characters. One of them's a narrator. The other one is a person right there. Kind of similar to the use of force. And in fact, if you want to go deeper into it, you could find more similarities. But also, some big elements are totally different. So, for example, this story starts in the present day, which again for them is the 70s, and then it flashes back. It says, hey, here's something that happened when we were kids. And it's sometime during the 50s is the kids section. So that's different. The use of force was all one scene. It's sort of, you can imagine it like a play where you have your room and people walk on or walk off, but there's no change in that and there's no change in time. This one there really is. And the way it works is you kind of forget about the opening part. This sort of present day gives you some clues, and then you get into the flashback, and it's so suspenseful that you kind of forget about the present day, but then it comes back at the end, brings it all together. So that's a real nice story in the way that it's structured, and I'm going to recommend that to a lot of people. Sometimes when you write your first draft, you end up thinking, you know what, it would be better if we rearrange it a little bit and make this part a flashback, or, start in the future. That kind of stuff happens a lot. Where did I have this? I have my assignment ready to go, but I'm going to look at these questions. Only 5. Last time some people did it super quick, and I thought maybe I'll do 10, but no, I only gave 5 questions. So what are some things it has in common with the use of force? For example, 2 main characters. What are some things that it doesn't? And there's a lot. You have a million possibilities of what you could say as long as you have some kind of thought behind it. And then here's where it gets good, because every time we write something or read something or work on an existing story that we want to edit, the number one thing we have to have is conflict. And if a story is boring, it's usually because the conflict either isn't dangerous enough or it doesn't start until later and you need to introduce it at the beginning. So that's important. But I want to stress, when I say conflict, it does not have to be, a villain with a cape and a sword and your heroes fighting against them with, magic spells. And it's not what you might imagine from a Disney movie or video game. Those things are awesome, but it could be, like the use of force, 2 normal people who are probably normal the next day, but in this moment they get caught up and get crazy. Or it could be like this story, The Last Rung on the Ladder, where they love each other. There's no fight between them at all, but the tragedy is something else. In fact, the fact that they love each other makes it worse, because then there's more, more to care about. So think about that. And when I say answer these, I want you to, give them a little bit of thought. Give them a paragraph or a couple sentences and not just say, 2 words and then done. Um, this story's full of suspense and surprise. And by the way, I will talk about like those two different things. And there's a famous interview with Alfred Hitchcock, the movie director, where he talks about suspense and surprise and the difference between those things. But my first question, just start off simple. When you were in the middle of this story, page 5 or something, what did you think was going to happen? Even if it doesn't make sense, like when I was reading it, I thought, oh, this guy's going to die, but it wouldn't make sense because he's the narrator and he wouldn't be able to be in that present day. Just what did you think? You know? And I didn't put spoilers in the question because I thought people might read them before they read the story. But there are a lot of things that you could imagine are going to happen, and then what actually happens is probably different from what you thought. And finally, I don't want to make this video too long. Soon we're going to start our own stories. Okay, next time is a little brainstorm practice thing, and the next one after that is you're going to start. So what's one idea you've got? It does not have to be the one you stick with. If you say a thing here and then you think of a better one tomorrow, that's fine, but I just want to get you to bringing up possibilities in your mind. And for this, I would say you can write anything you want. Could be a sci-fi, could be a romance, could be, any genre you want, but try to keep it simple. Don't tell me that, you're going to write this 5-book franchise that's going to take 1,000,000 words and it's going to have 100 characters. You can, of course, but give me like one chapter of that. Like, what would we see if we just get the teaser, of like one person having one conflict or one fight or one chase or one romance or one whatever. But try to narrow it down to 2 or 3 characters and one thing. So I'm going to post that. I'm going to say due date is Wednesday. Although, again, it's not a huge deal. I had somebody from another class try to nail me down on the time. They were like, oh, you didn't put a time. Does that mean it's due on midnight? I don't know, man. I'm not grading it at midnight. I'm going to grade it the next day or something. So don't worry about the time. I'm putting the dates so that it reminds you to do it. But I'm not actually using the specifics of how it's marked, Anyway, I'm going to take this video now, put a link to it in here, then post it. Then we're going to take some time. And that's it.